The first thing I felt was heat, not pain, not fear, just heat. The kind of heat that doesn't just burn your skin, it feels like it is melting your soul. I remember screaming, but I couldn't hear my own voice. All I could hear was the sound of the kettle hitting the floor and rolling. Clang, clang. And when I finally opened my eyes through the blur of tears and steam, the face I saw was not a stranger. It was my best friend, the girl I trusted with my secrets, the girl I ate from the same plate with, the girl I shared a mattress with in Ibadan. Her name was Temilade Adebayo, and she had just poured boiling water on me. They say when someone tries to kill you, time slows down. That day, time didn't slow down. It shattered. One moment I was brushing my teeth in the bathroom of our one room apartment in Bodija, humming a worship song. The next moment, my back felt like someone had poured liquid fire on it. I didn't even understand what had happened at first. I just felt my skin tightening, shrinking, burning. I dropped the toothbrush. Tammy? I whispered. She didn't answer. She was just standing there, breathing hard, with the kettle still in her hand. My name is Morayo Ogunle. I was 23 years old, fresh graduate, no job, no rich parents, no boyfriend, just dreams and faith, and one wicked friend. I met Temilade during my second year at the University of Ibadan. We were both broke, both hungry, both sharing one meat pie between us at the faculty canteen. She had this loud laugh that made people turn around. I had this quiet smile that made people underestimate me. We became friends the way poor students become friends, by surviving together. When I didn't have money, she paid. When she didn't have data, I hotspot. When my hostel became too expensive, she suggested, come and stay with me off campus. We'll manage. That was how we moved into that small room in Bodija. Girls, one mattress, one gas burner, one kettle, the same kettle that almost ended my life. Looking back now, the signs were there, but when you love someone, you don't see danger. You see excuses. Temi used to get angry over small things. If I didn't greet her first in the morning, she would be moody all day. If I cooked and didn't call her immediately, she would say I was forming. If someone praised me, she would laugh it off and change the topic. But I thought it was just jealousy mixed with stress. After all, life in Ibadan wasn't easy. No jobs, bills piling, pressure from parents. Who wouldn't be frustrated? Then David entered the picture. David was not my boyfriend. He was just a guy from church who helped me with CVs and online applications. Sometimes he bought me food, sometimes he sent me transport money. That was all. But Temi didn't see it that way. One night she said, so you're now doing runs with church boys? Laughed. Temi, are you mad? That's my brother in Christ. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. The night before she poured the hot water, we fought, not shouting, not insults, just silence, dead cold silence. I had told her I got an interview in Lagos. She didn't congratulate me, she just said, so you want to leave me here and go and start big girl life? I said, Temi, I've been jobless for 2 years. She replied, so? You think I'm not jobless? I tried to laugh. She stood up and went outside. She didn't come back till 2 a.m. When she returned, her eyes were red, not from crying, from anger. That morning, I woke up early to pray. She was already awake, boiling water. I didn't think anything of it. We boiled water every morning, for bathing, for tea, for everything. I went to the bathroom. I was brushing my teeth when I heard the door open behind me. I turned, and before I could even say, good morning, she poured it. Have you ever felt pain so deep that your body rejects it? My brain shut down. My legs collapsed. I fell on the bathroom floor screaming. My skin was bubbling, literally bubbling. I could smell myself burning. I thought, so this is how people die. As I rolled on the floor, begging God, begging my mother, begging anyone, I heard her voice, calm, cold. She said, you think you're better than me. That was all. Not sorry, not crying, not shaking, just, you think you're better than me. My scream brought the neighbors. They broke the door. Someone poured cold water. Someone called an Okada. Someone shouted, "She wants to kill her." Temi didn't run. She just stood there, watching, like she had finally done something she had been thinking about for a long time. As they rushed me to UCH Ibadan, I drifted in and out of consciousness. I remember the smell of antiseptic, the doctor saying, "second-degree burns," my mother crying on the phone, and one question repeating in my head: why? Not how, not what, but why? Why would the person who slept beside me try to destroy me? Even now, years later, people still ask me, "What really happened between you and Temilade?" Some say it was jealousy, some say it was money, some say it was a man, some say it was madness. But the truth, the real reason, the reason that shocked even the police, is something I didn't discover until much later. And when I did, I realized the hot water was not the beginning. It was the end of a plan that started years before I even knew her. When I woke up, the first thing I felt was weight, not on my body, but in my chest. The kind of weight that makes it hard to breathe, even when oxygen is entering your lungs. My eyes opened slowly. White ceiling, white walls, beeping machines, hospital. For a moment, I thought everything had been a dream. Then I tried to move my back, and I screamed, not loudly. My body didn't even have the strength for loud screams anymore. It was a broken animal sound that came from somewhere deep inside my throat. The nurse rushed in. "Easy, easy, don't move." I looked down at myself, bandages everywhere, my back, my arms, part of my neck, wrapped like I had been mummified. That was when it hit me. It wasn't a dream. Temilade really tried to kill me. My mother was sitting by the bed. She looked smaller, not physically, emotionally. Her eyes were red and swollen. Her headscarf was crooked. She hadn't slept. When she saw my eyes open, she gasped, "Mora, my child." She stood up so fast her chair fell. She touched my hand carefully like I would break. "God, thank you, thank you." I wanted to talk, but my lips were dry. My throat burned. All I could whisper was, "Where is Temi?" My mother froze. Her face changed. Not sadness, not fear, anger, pure hot anger. "Don't mention that girl's name in my presence," she said. "She has been arrested." Arrested. The word felt strange in my ears. Temilade, my roommate, my friend, my sister. Arrested like a criminal. I didn't know whether to feel relieved or empty. I asked, "What did she say?" My mother hesitated. The nurse was still in the room. My mother waited until she left. Then she leaned close to me and said, "She said you wanted to steal her destiny." I laughed. Then I cried. Then I laughed again. It sounded like madness. "Destiny?" I whispered. "What destiny?" My mother shook her head slowly. She said, "You've been living her life." I stared at the ceiling. The painkillers were making my head light, but those words stayed. "You've been living her life." What did that even mean? 2 days later, a police officer came to see me. He was a young man, not older than 30. He spoke gently, like I was a child. "Morayo, we just need you to tell us what happened." I told him everything, from how we met, to the interview, to the morning of the attack. He wrote everything down. Then he asked, "Did she ever mention anything about your family before?" I paused. "My family?" "No," I said. "Why?" He exchanged a look with another officer. Then he said, "She told us a different story." My heart started beating faster. "What story?" He opened his notebook. "She said your mother ruined her mother's life." That night I confronted my mother. She was sitting on the hospital bed, peeling an orange for me. Her hands froze when I mentioned it. "Temi said you ruined her mother's life," I said quietly. My mother dropped the orange. It rolled across the floor. She didn't pick it up. She just sat there, silent, for a long time, too long. "Mommy?" I called. Her voice finally came, low, tired. "Where did you hear that name?" I frowned. What name? She swallowed. Temilade's mother, I said. She didn't tell me her mother's name. My mother's eyes filled with tears. Then she said something that made my blood turn cold. Her mother's name is Rashidat Lawal. The room felt like it tilted. I knew that name. I had heard it before, but I couldn't remember where until it hit me, like another kettle of hot water. When I was 12, I once found an old photograph in my mother's wardrobe. It showed my mother younger, standing beside another woman. They were both pregnant, both smiling. I had asked, "Mommy, who is this?" My mother had snatched the picture and said, "Someone I used to know." That was all. That woman was Rashidat Lawal. My mother finally told me the truth, not everything, but enough. Years ago, before I was born, she and Rashidat were best friends, just like me and Temi. They were both pregnant at the same time. They both attended the same church. They both sold food at Bodija Market. Then something happened. A man, a business deal, money. My mother refused to go into details, but she said, after that, Rashidat lost everything. Her marriage collapsed. Her business failed. She moved away. And my mother, she prospered, married my father, had me, lived well. Two best friends, two pregnancies, one life destroyed, one life blessed. Then years later, two daughters, two best friends, one life rising, one life stuck. Me and Temi. Suddenly, everything made sense. Her anger, her jealousy, her silence, her strange comments. It wasn't just about David. It wasn't about Lagos. It was about history repeating itself. Temilade didn't see me as Morayo. She saw me as my mother, the woman she believed ruined her own mother's life. The police later found a diary in Temi's bag. She had been writing about me for months, pages and pages, my habits, my friends, my plans. One line stood out. She is living what should have been mine, just like her mother lived what should have been my mother's. Another line, if I destroy her body, maybe I can free my destiny. That night, alone in the hospital, unable to sleep, I finally understood something terrifying. Temilede didn't attack me because of anger. She didn't do it because of jealousy. She didn't even do it because of hatred. She did it because she believed she was correcting a spiritual mistake. In her mind, she wasn't wicked. She was restoring balance. But here is what still didn't make sense. If this was all about our mothers, then why did she wait until now? Why not poison me? Why not frame me? Why hot water? Why so public? Why so brutal? Why look into my eyes while doing it? There was still something missing, a final piece, and I didn't find it out until the doctor called my mother outside one morning and said, "There is something about your daughter's burns you need to know." Something that made my mother start shaking, something that made the police reopen the case, something that proved Temilade didn't just want to hurt me, she wanted to mark me forever. The doctor did not speak in a hurry. He was the kind of man that chose his words carefully, like each sentence could either heal you or destroy you. My mother and I were sitting across from him in his office at UCH Ibadan. I was still wrapped in bandages, moving slowly, smelling faintly of ointment and antiseptic. He folded his hands and said, "There is something unusual about the pattern of the burns on your daughter's body." My mother's fingers tightened around her handbag. "Unusual how?" she asked. The doctor leaned forward. "They are not random." The room went quiet. No hospital quiet. The kind of quiet that feels heavy, like something bad is about to be born. "What do you mean not random?" my mother whispered. He took out some printed photographs, medical photographs. My own back, my arms, my shoulder. The images made my stomach turn. He pointed at them gently. The way the water was poured, it followed a deliberate path. My heart started beating faster. "Deliberate?" I repeated. "Yes," he said. "It wasn't just thrown, it was directed, almost carefully." My mother shook her head slowly. "You're saying she planned how to burn her?" The doctor nodded. "I'm saying she wasn't acting blindly. She wanted specific areas affected." My mouth went dry. Which areas? He looked at me, not my mother. Your back, your shoulders, your neck, places that will always be visible. I swallowed. So what? He exhaled. So whoever did this didn't just want to hurt you. She wanted to brand you. That word entered my body like poison. Brand you, like cattle, like property, like an object that needed to be marked. I suddenly remembered something Temi once said jokingly, months before the incident. We were watching a Nollywood film where a wicked woman disfigured her rival. Temi had laughed and said, "If I ever hate someone, I won't kill them. I'll just make sure they never forget me." At the time, we both laughed. Now I wanted to throw up. As days passed and the bandages were changed, I started seeing the truth. The scars were ugly, not small, not light, dark, angry lines across my skin. Some parts looked like melted plastic, some looked like old tree bark. I couldn't even look at myself properly. The nurse once tried to show me a mirror. I turned my face away. I wasn't ready to meet the new version of myself because I knew something. I knew Temilade didn't just burn my body. She burned my future, my confidence, my relationships, my marriage chances, my sense of beauty. Every time I would wear a dress, every time someone touched my back, every time someone asked, "What happened?" I would remember her forever. That was the mark. 3 weeks after the incident, while I was still in the hospital, something happened that nobody expected. Temilade's mother came to see me, Rashidat Lawal, the woman from the photograph. She came quietly. No shouting, no crying. Just walked in like a ghost. She was tall, thin, wearing a faded black wrapper and a dull blue blouse. Her eyes looked tired. Not sad, tired. When she saw me on the bed, wrapped in bandages, she didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just stared. For a long time. Then she said, "So this is what my daughter did." My mother stood up immediately. "What are you doing here?" she snapped. Rashidat looked at her and smiled. Not a friendly smile, a bitter one. "I came to see the fruit of your destiny." My mother's face went pale. "Get out," she said. Rashidat ignored her. She walked closer to me. I felt uncomfortable. Something about her presence made the air feel heavy. She looked at my bandaged back and said softly, "You look just like your mother did, the day everything changed." My heart skipped. "What do you mean?" I asked. Rashidat laughed quietly. "You don't know, do you?" My mother shouted, "Enough! Leave now!" But Rashidat turned to me and said, "Ask your mother how she became pregnant." The room exploded. "What kind of nonsense is that?" my mother screamed. But Rashidat was already walking out. Her voice echoed from the corridor. "History doesn't die, it only waits." That night I could not sleep. My body hurt, but my mind hurt more. Ask your mother how she became pregnant. What did that even mean? I waited until the nurse left. Then I asked, "Mommy, what did she mean?" My mother didn't answer. I asked again. Still silence. I asked a third time. Her hands started shaking. Then she said something that changed how I saw my entire life. "She meant your father is not who you think he is." I felt like someone slapped me. "What?" My mother closed her eyes. "The man you call your father is not your biological father." My chest tightened. "You're lying." She shook her head. "No." "Then who is?" I whispered. She took a deep breath. "Rashidat's husband." The room spun. The hospital walls felt like they were collapsing. "You're saying?" "Yes," she said. "I got pregnant for her husband." My mother finally told me everything. Years ago, Rashidat and her husband were struggling. No children. Doctors said Rashidat could not conceive. She begged my mother to help her. She said, "Just sleep with my husband. I'll raise the child as mine." My mother agreed, out of pity, out of friendship, out of stupidity. She got pregnant. But something changed. The man fell in love with her. He wanted to leave Rashidat. My mother refused. Rashidat found out. Everything exploded. My mother ran away, changed cities, changed church, changed life, and kept me. So I was not just Temilede's friend. I was her sister, by blood, by betrayal, by sin. Everything Temilade believed was true. In a twisted way, I really was living the life that should have been hers. I had her father, her mother's dream, her family's stolen future, and she had nothing. Suddenly, the story shifted. It was no longer about two friends. It was about two daughters carrying the sins of two women. Temilade didn't pour hot water on Morayo. She poured it on the living evidence of her mother's humiliation, on the child that replaced her, on the proof that her family was robbed. And now the final piece made sense. Hot water, in Yoruba culture, hot water is used to cleanse curses, to remove spiritual stains, to wash away evil. Temile didn't choose hot water randomly. She chose it because she believed if she burned me, she could burn the past. If she scarred me, she could scar the injustice. If she destroyed my body, she could restore her bloodline. But here's what nobody knew. Not the police, not the doctors, not even my mother. Temilade had tried this once before, not with me, with someone else, a girl in secondary school, who also mysteriously suffered burns and disappeared. That information was buried, hidden. Until one nurse at UCH recognized Timilade's name and said, "I've seen this case before." And when the police went back into the records, they realized something terrifying. Temilad didn't just attack me out of pain. She had been practicing for years, and I was not her first target. I was just the one that survived. And somewhere in a cell in Ibadan, Temilad was smiling, because even though she failed to kill me, she succeeded in something else. She finally made sure the truth came out. And now, my life would never be the same again, not because of the scars, but because of what I truly was, the daughter of a stolen man, the living symbol of a broken family, and the reason my wicked friend decided I deserved to burn. Temilade finally spoke in court. For months, she had refused to say anything. She stared at the walls, ignored her lawyer, ignored the police. But the day my mother testified, she broke. She stood up suddenly and said, "Stop pretending. You all know why I did it." The courtroom went silent. Even the judge leaned forward. She pointed at me. "That girl is not innocent. She is the product of theft." My heart felt like it was tearing in half. She is living the life my mother was supposed to live. She is sleeping in the bed my mother should have slept in. She is calling a man father that belongs to me. People started murmuring. Temi laughed, a dry, broken laugh. "You people think I'm wicked. I didn't pour hot water because I hate her. I poured it because I wanted her to feel what my mother felt for 23 years. The judge asked quietly, "So you plan to kill her?" Temilade shook her head. "No, I plan to mark her. So every time she looks at herself, she will remember that her life is built on another woman's pain." Then she looked at me, directly into my eyes, and it worked. Before sentencing, Temilade dropped one last truth, something even my mother didn't know. She said, "My mother didn't just lose her husband, she lost her womb." The whole court froze. She tried to abort after she found out the truth. The abortion failed. It damaged her body. She could never conceive again. My mother collapsed in court. That was the moment everything ended. Not the case, not the story, but the lies. Temilade was sentenced to 18 years in prison, not for attempted murder, but for grievous harm with premeditation. She didn't cry. She didn't beg. As they took her away, she looked back at me and said softly, "We're even now." I left Ibadan, moved to Abeokuta, started a small tailoring business. I learned how to live with my scars. I learned how to forgive my mother. I learned how to forgive myself. But I never forgot Temilede. Because the truth is, she didn't destroy my life. She revealed it. She didn't burn me because she was evil. She burned me because two women made a choice years ago and their daughters paid the price. Sometimes your worst enemy is not a stranger. It's someone who knows your name, your past, your blood, and sometimes The reason someone hurts you is not jealousy, it's history. And history always collects its debt, even with fire.